What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I'm going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi had a pretty strong close on Friday, up 5.02%. So a lot of individuals are going to be really looking for that continued momentum, and with the data points coming out this week, you could kind of see that. So starting off on Monday, you do have more of a technical driven day, and then on Tuesday you have jolt numbers. Aside from that though, you actually do have quite a lot of Fed speakers throughout the week, and they sometimes have a kind of a sense and ability to really humble the market, so just anticipate that to happen. But again, Tuesday jolt numbers, Wednesday you have ADP employment as well as FOMC minutes. Last couple set of minutes didn't really cause that much disruption. If anything, it came in line with what the market was really kind of feeling, and so the market actually moved up higher as a byproduct of that. So I think that might actually happen this time around as well. Thursday, same old, so initial jobless claims and so forth. And then Friday, non-farm payroll and unemployment. So again, a lot of the data points coming out has the ability to really move the market in its entirety to the next leg higher. So kind of stay tuned for that. Nothing really specific to SoFi though for this upcoming week, so no fireside chats, nothing like that. They did announce their earnings on January the 3rd, and as I mentioned in my previous video, historically it does go up on average 30%. I think I did a video like 6+ months ago and calculated everything, and yeah, it does go up on average 30%. I quickly did it, another recalculation this morning, only did up to Q2 2022, but on average 12.5% just in this regard. Low end, so worst case scenario did occur in Q4 2023 where it caused it to go down 9.5%. So that is the date that between the dates of them announcing it and the date and the price, I guess, leading into their earnings, so the eve of it. High end 46.66%. So again, you can kind of anticipate roughly a 30% push from those these prices since SoFi did announce their earnings. This is just historically speaking. Sometimes history doesn't repeat itself, so do your own due diligence and all the other fun jazz. But going into this upcoming week, short interest is 13%, works out to be 138.57 million shares overall are being shorted. Short's been rather timid over the last couple trading days. Even on Friday, they did only increase 192,000 shares, so no attempt at like really bringing the stock price down below any key strike prices. They kind of gave up. But with a lot of key data coming out this week, if negative, anticipate shorts to pounce all over that. So kind of just be aware of that. But cost to borrow minimum is still negative. So that one broker out there still trying to drum up business. Doesn't really cause that much damage, but most likely that one broker is direct competition to SoFi. Maybe one of the ones that just gave a negative rating, possibly. We'll just have to wait and see. But as far as options go, so looking at the volume that was done on Friday, so you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $16 to $17 range for this upcoming week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub $14, so you kind of have polar opposites for that. And with it closing at $14.89, this is the open interest, what it closed with for last week. So you have 8,000 at that 14 and then 7,000 at that 14.50. So you might not see that big of a jump up or anything associated to that for I guess come Monday. And even looking for this upcoming week, the only strong wall that I can really see is roughly around that $16 range. So 14,000 at that 16. So again, a lot of that does change. It usually goes up by like 40% in the first couple of trading days. So I don't see any crazy walls, like I said. So in theory, SoFi could really move up higher. But as far as on the technical standpoint, with it at $14.84, it is trading slightly above this S1. So 14.73 will be a key support that you'll really want to watch for it to hold. Flip side, 15.72 and then 16.72 are going to be the next strong resistance / target points for SoFi. So again, factoring in historically, SoFi just generally moves up higher on average 30% as soon as they announce their earnings. It is fair to assume that you can kind of anticipate and maybe not this week, but in the foreseeable future, at least like 17-ish, going into their upcoming earnings and whatever else. And in my opinion, I think the data that is going to come out this week is going to be fairly positive for the broader market and SoFi. So I think that this upcoming week, you're going to see the price appreciate and continue to do so. Obviously, last weekend when I did this type of video, I did state that I felt that it was going to pull back, and yeah, regrettably it did. This is why I like to just follow the data points of the technicals. It doesn't give you any BS, no pumping, nothing like that. And so, yeah, I really like to kind of follow just the data points and whatever. But one thing to really anticipate, though, is more analyst ratings, even though I've already gone on a lot of rants on how it doesn't logically make sense for anyone to give ratings. But you did have Deutsche, $14, Marku has a 63% success rating, and then you had KBW. I think TipRanks was glitching a little bit. So previously, I think it was showing like $11.16. But it looks like it reset itself to that $8, and then 13 and 12. So 3 back-to-back sell ratings. So KBW, Morgan Stanley, and then Bank of America. So kind of interesting. Most likely it's one of these two entities that's the brokerage that is really paying people to short SoFi, but what do I know? So aside from that, going over to the actual chart itself, so you have it right now below the ALMA, and so that is sitting at $14.92. And so it's kind of wedge bound between the ALMA and the 50-day moving average, which as of right now is sitting at $14.29. So if SoFi does come out hitting fairly strong above that ALMA, then you could see a further push higher. But again, historically speaking, if SoFi does break below that 50-day moving average, which again is at 14.29, that usually results in, on average, like a 15 to 20% pullback. So I think right now, this upcoming week is very critical for SoFi on the technical standpoint. But like I mentioned, I think the data points are going to come in line with expectation, if not better, propelling SoFi a little bit higher back into the $15, $16 range. That's just my viewpoint, of course. Anything can happen. One positive thing that, at least going into this upcoming week, that could stand to help SoFi is the fact that it is very oversold. And so RSI is sitting at roughly 8. So very, very overdone for that. So again, that could really help SoFi, but it is all going to come down onto the data points. So I kind of speak quite a lot about historically, and this could happen if this happens and blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it is going to be this data and what the market does truly feel is going to happen. I think there still is at the very, very minimum, a good sense of fear in the broader market, because even looking at this on a week by week basis, money markets did increase again for the second consecutive week, $42.05 billion, bringing the grand total to $6.85 trillion. So money is leaving equity and also crypto markets and going back into money markets. Of course, they're only doing that because they feel that maybe there is more downside coming, but a lot of spec stocks recently, quantum and whatever, have been running like a madman. So there's still a good sense of just maybe greed in the market in that regard, but maybe cycling out of growth stocks. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what the market does bring, but I feel like this upcoming week is going to be fairly positive for SoFi. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Where do you see things going for this upcoming week? Do you think it's going to be bullish, bearish? What's your viewpoint? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.